Virginia Tech back in the Orange Bowl for a second straight year, but can they get a different result than what they had last year? Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. We're breaking down the Orange Bowl between Virginia Tech, perennial power in the ACC, and before that the Big East, a conference that now Cincinnati has won for the first time in its history. Let's bring in Spencer Tillman to break this down. And Spence, this seems to be the forgotten of the BCS games. It's not the sexy matchup like some of the others, but Virginia Tech Cincinnati should be a good game. Give people a reason to watch this game.
Well, I'm thinking Cincinnati's a great reason to watch this game. You look at the coaching job that Brian Kelly has done since arriving in Cincinnati. I think the most prolific statistic that kind of jumps out to you, he's 6-2 against ranked opponents. That's pretty strong for a newcomer. And you look at the 22-5 record he's had since being there overall. I think the Cincinnati ball club is on a great track to be something special. And you're going to see them not an occasional appearance in some of these BCS games. You're going to see them as frequenting them. And it may be kind of to the dismay of a lot of teams that believe that they are better than this team in a weak conference. But you know what? I think they're special, and his ability to manage his quarterback situation attests to that.
And Spence, like last year's Orange Bowl, you get a team you're not used to seeing. Kansas last year, this year Cincinnati, first New Year's bowl game since the 1951 Sun Bowl. I mean, this is a big deal for the folks in Cincinnati.
Who was president then?
I got to think. Harry Truman was president then. Good, I got that one from me. But Spence, you know, when you talk about Cincinnati and you talked about Brian Kelly, maybe the most impressive thing is the fact that he's done it with 5 different quarterbacks because of injuries. When you talk about the Cincinnati offense, is it good enough to give problems to Bud Foster's defense?
Well, Tony Pike is the last quarterback in that set of quarterbacks that he's gone through, and I think that he probably isn't his best athletic option, but he is a smart quarterback and makes wise decisions. I think the thing for Pike that helps him, he's got great receivers to throw the ball to. We talk about Marty Gilliard and his prolificness, not just as a punt returner, but also as a wide receiver. And he's got other complementary parts. And I think that Brian Kelly's vision for this offensive system, he is so smart. He is so wise. I've watched him against Oklahoma early in this year, even in a loss. He did some creative things I haven't seen the likes of even Urban Meyer attempt offensively. So Brian Kelly's a unique coach, and this quarterback is just the latest effective guy in a scheme that totally works for him.
And Marty Gilliard has Dominic Goodman opposite of him, so you've got 2 good receivers for Cincinnati against Macho Harris, who was a great corner for Virginia Tech. So that should be a very good matchup. Now on the other side, when you talk about the Hokies, we're not talking about a prolific offense here, Spence. We're talking about a team that throughout the year struggled at times, but got enough down the stretch from Tyrod Taylor. But is he still a guy that if you take away his running attack, you don't worry about him beating you with the pass?
Well, I think what you've got to deal with Tyrod Taylor is to take one of the other. Listen, even in the greatest years with Michael Vick, this Virginia Tech team has not been a team that's been a prolific offense. They've had balance. That's really what defined them. So you don't see gaudy numbers in the passing department or the rushing department. I think the ability to keep teams, defenses off balance is what really makes them the success that they are. And then, of course, special teams, which is always a big factor. So, again, I think Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback, but he's not going to beat you with his arm. He's going to pull it down and run with it. And I think the key for him down the stretch in the 2008 season, he hasn't been turning the ball over late in contests like he did during a couple of periods when they had losses, tough losses in a very competitive conference. So as long as he stays on point with respect to not throwing turnovers, they're going to be in good shape.
Spence, you may have just hit the key of this game on the head, though. You talk about special teams, and that's always the case when you play Beamer ball. But Cincinnati, #1 in the nation in net punting, and you talked about Gilliard earlier, a fantastic punt returner. Is it possible that Cincinnati may be better at special teams than Virginia Tech?
Well, I don't know if they're better, but if you look at one particular category that Virginia Tech is known for, and that's blocking punts and kicks and field goals and things of that nature, if you're believing what they say about it, and I checked the stats last night, dating back to '86, they say that they've blocked at least 6 against Cincinnati historically. Whether or not that's anecdotal or whether it matters here in 2008 is another issue. We can't refute the fact that Virginia Tech is a tremendous blocking team against special teams across the board. Cincinnati's got great return people, so that's going to be one of the matchups to watch in this contest to see which special teams will prevail. I'm prepared to say that it may come down to a special teams play, mainly because of the less than stellar offense for Virginia Tech and, of course, Cincinnati's ability to stay in games from an offensive standpoint. They can score points.
All right, who's your winner, Spence?
I think Cincinnati's going for the upset. I like Brian Kelly a lot. Virginia Tech's a good team, but Brian Kelly showed me every reason to believe that they can be competitive and still a win in this one.
I like Cincinnati, too, in this one, just like we liked Kansas last year to beat Virginia Tech. Spencer Tillman, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jason, we'll see you.
All right, folks, and for more on this game or any of the other BCS bowl games, or any other bowl game for that matter, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.